Planting vegetable in a 30-gallon container. Hello, welcome to 7 Garden, where we talk about gardening, ways to save money, and other special events. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the bell icon so that you get notified of all upcoming videos. Hello, so today we're gonna plant anchia, which is a tropical vegetable, in this 30-gallon container. So this container is, last year I used it to plant potatoes. This year I'm changing it to something else. So in the fall I put quite a bunch of leaves on top of it just to maintain the temperature and the moisture. As you can see, the leaves did its job, and the worms already started eating some of the leaves, and the soil looks very moist and very fertile with a lot of worms in there. So this year I'm just gonna add some nutrients to it and then use it to grow anchia. Anchia is a tropical vegetable that we grow and we harvest. So what I'm gonna do first is just try to mix it up a little bit, so that way break up the lumps. If there are any lumps at the bottom, just break the lumps up of the soil. You want the soil to be loose when you're planting, so that way the roots have easy access and the roots can easily go down. So I'm just using this pick fork to just mix it up a little bit, break down any lumps before I add the organic fertilizer that we're gonna add to it. So I love this fork because it's very durable and it's very easy to use on something like this. You can use it for your compost pile. I use it for my compost pile and other stuff. So definitely a good garden tool to have around. So after mixing it up right now, what we're going to do is add some compost. I have some compost from the compost pile, and also some worm castings that I have. Just a little bit of worm castings, but since there are already a ton of worms in here, I don't need to add a lot. So what I'm going to just do is just add the compost and then add my fertilizer mix. So here is the compost. We're not gonna add a lot. Like I said, the container itself is very good. The soil in there is good. So just add a little bit of compost. Just mix it up a little bit. Then we add our organic fertilizer. If the container you're using doesn't have a lot of good nutrients in it, then you want to add a lot of. But since this container had some worms in there, and I put quite a few leaves and other stuff for the worms to eat throughout the winter periods, they were able to at least go through it, and it looks much better. So what we're gonna do next is add some fertilizer. The fertilizers I'm adding is a mixture that I make myself, but it's a mixture of rock dust, bone meal, feather meal, some other organic garden tone fertilizer with perlite. So as you can see, there's a mixture right here. So I mixed all these up, all the various fertilizer up, so that way I just use in the garden. So it's a mixture. Like I said, I just use other organic fertilizers that I have. I mix them up with peat moss, just to make it easier for me to mix and also easier to spread around. So like I said, I mix the peat moss, the rock dust, the garden nitrogen rich bone meal and feather meal, which provide a lot of nitrogen for vegetables like these, and then just mix them up with a little bit of garden tone organic fertilizer, and that provides a lot of balanced nutrition. The rock dust has a lot of micro minerals, and which is good for the plants. So just mix it up like that, and it's gonna provide much needed nutrients later on. After the growing season, during maybe the middle of the growing season, I might add a little bit of fertilizer, such as compost or worm castings, into the pile later on. But right now, I think this is good. So everything, we're done mixing everything. So what we're gonna do now is just plant seedlings. I start most of my plants from seedlings. So we're just gonna grab the seedlings and then we start our planting. But before we start the planting, what I usually like to do when I'm planting in containers or in the garden is try to water the container, especially if you're mixing containers like this. You want to water it. You want to make sure that you try to get the soil as moist as possible, so that way, for some reason, if you forget to water after planting, it's not gonna die off. So what I like to do is just make sure that I water the container, making sure it's soaked. As you can see, it has good drainage, so the water is just gonna drain down. But you just want to make sure that the container is soaked before you plant it. Plant any seedlings in there, so that way it gives it a much better chance of surviving and growing if the roots get in contact with that moisture and able to continue absorbing the moisture and growing from there. So that's all I always advise everybody if you're growing, especially if you're growing in containers and you're using either soil or soil that has not been used for a while or any type of dry soil. You just want to make sure you soak it before you plant. Let me know in the comments below if you do the same thing or you just plant and then you water it. Even though I still water after planting, but I think watering it before planting makes it much easier, and the soil is much more comfortable in terms of you being able to plant what you doing. So these are the seedlings that I have. So I'm gonna just give a little bit of space and then just plant all of the various seedlings in the in this container. So like I said, sometimes especially this one that I'm planting, they are very big tropical plants that can expand very fast. So if they expand, I can take out some and just bring it into the garden. But for now, at least I'm gonna plant these in this container. Also, let me know in the comments if you plant in big containers like this, or if you plant in containers at all. I know some people find it challenging to plant in containers, but it's very easy. And why I love containers like this is that you're able to manage the soil and able to manage what you get in terms of the nutrients you have in your soil, as opposed to just planting it directly into the garden or growing into the garden. With this, I'm able to manage the type of soil that I use and what type of soil that I grow in. And as you can see, I'm all done planting. So like I said, whenever you plant, just try to water. Just make sure you water. I prefer to make sure that the soil is too moist than not to be moist at all. So if it's too moist, at least it has good drainage. The container has a lot of holes at the bottom, so it's gonna easily drain, but the roots are gonna be able to continue surviving and thriving after planting. Usually, sometimes if you transplant like this, you might want to use something like I sometimes use Epsom salt just to reduce the stress on plants. But there are so many different chemicals that you can use, or things that you can use to reduce the stress on the plants. Okay, that is it for today. I hope you liked the video. If you like the videos, please smash the like button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel and don't forget to share. Thanks for watching. Happy growing, everybody.